Welcome to the Driving Safety and Company Vehicles training. Work-related roadway crashes are the leading cause of death from traumatic injuries in the U.S. workplace. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 2,122 fatalities resulting from work-related transportation incidents occurred in 2019, accounting for a whopping 40% of the 5,333 fatalities from occupational injuries. Unlike other workplaces, the roadway is not a closed environment. Preventing work-related roadway crashes requires strategies that combine traffic safety principles and sound safety management practices. Although your employer cannot control roadway conditions, they can promote safe driving behavior by providing you with safety information and by setting and enforcing driver safety policies for company vehicles. Crashes are not an unavoidable part of doing business. The purpose of this training is to detail some general employer vehicle driver safety policies and safe driving practices you should follow, whether driving a company vehicle or your own. Have you ever seen a bumper sticker that says, "How's my driving? Call this number"? You may even drive a company vehicle that bears that very sticker, and with good reason. The goal of such stickers is to encourage safe driving habits, because the way you drive not only reflects on your employer, but affects everyone else on the road. You can make a positive statement by adhering to the following work-related safe driving practices for staying safe, alert, and focused behind the wheel. First up is staying safe, and it starts with following these common sense safe driving policies. You and any passenger should use seatbelts at all times. If you are impaired by alcohol or any kind of drug, do not drive. Obey posted speed limits and maintain a safe distance of 1 vehicle length per 10 mile per hour from the vehicle in front of you. Be especially careful when backing up any vehicle, checking all around behind your vehicle and blowing your horn for the safety of others. Set a realistic goal for the number of miles that you can drive safely in a given amount of time, taking into account variables such as traffic and inclement weather. During inclement weather conditions, make appropriate adjustments to your driving, such as slowing down, leaving more space between vehicles, using flashers, or getting off the road completely. Next up is staying alert. Make sure that you are well rested before driving and avoid taking medications that make you drowsy. Some signs that you may be too drowsy to drive are repeated blinking or yawning, rubbing your eyes, difficulty focusing or remembering the last few miles, wandering thoughts, drifting from your lane or missing an exit, and feeling restless. If you're feeling too tired to drive, pull off the road and get to a safe location. Take a 20-minute nap and give yourself time to wake up afterward. Drink a caffeinated beverage for a temporary boost to your alertness. Finally, stay focused. Driving requires your full attention. Avoid distractions such as adjusting the radio or other controls, eating or drinking, and talking on the phone. Continually search the roadway to be alert to situations requiring quick action. Keep both hands on the wheel at all times so that you can react safely to unexpected occurrences. If you are traveling long distances, stop about every 2 hours for a break. Get out of the vehicle to stretch, take a walk, and get refreshed. Take the opportunity to refuel, check all fluids, and clean the windows, headlights, and taillights. Additionally, you must avoid aggressive driving. It's important to keep your cool in traffic. Reduce your stress by planning your route ahead of time, allowing plenty of travel time, and avoiding crowded roadways and busy driving times. Be patient and courteous to other drivers, and don't take other drivers' actions personally. One last vehicle hazard that must be addressed is the possibility of being struck by a moving vehicle, especially at the workplace. If vehicle safety practices are not observed at your site, you risk being struck by trucks or cars, pinned between vehicles and walls, struck by swinging equipment, or crushed beneath an overturned vehicle. Consider the following example. On a December afternoon in 2012, an employee was assigned to remove litter and debris from processed mulch. As the employee moved out of his assigned work area, he entered the path of a heavy work vehicle operating in reverse. The vehicle's originally equipped backup alarm was missing, so the employee wasn't aware that the vehicle was backing up. In addition, the left exterior rearview mirror was missing from the vehicle, and the right exterior rearview mirror was damaged, so the driver couldn't see the employee even though he was wearing a high visibility vest. The employee suffered fatal blunt impact injuries to his neck and torso. He was 25 years old. In addition to the previously mentioned safe driving policies and practices, the following procedures should be utilized to prevent struck-by vehicle and equipment hazards on the job. Your employer must provide any necessary additional training in the driving and operation of specialized motor vehicles or equipment, such as bulldozers and forklifts. Vehicles and equipment should always be operated per manufacturer recommendations. Check vehicles before each shift to ensure that all parts and accessories are in safe operating condition. Wear seatbelts that meet OSHA standards, except on equipment that is designed only for stand-up operation. Do not carry personnel unless there is a safe place for riders. Do not drive a vehicle with an obstructed rear view in reverse gear unless it has an audible reverse alarm or another worker signals that it is safe. Drive vehicles and equipment only on roadways or grades that are safely constructed and maintained. Furthermore, workers must be highly visible in all levels of light. High visibility warning clothing, such as red or orange vests, is required where struck-by hazards exist. If worn for night work, clothing must be made of reflective material. Traffic signs, barricades, or flaggers must be used when vehicle or equipment use takes place near public roadways. When operating lifting and hauling vehicles, make sure that you and all other personnel are in the clear before using dumping or lifting devices. Haulage vehicles that are loaded by cranes, power shovels, or loaders must have a cab shield or canopy that protects the driver from falling materials. Never exceed a vehicle's rated load or lift capacity. Properly parking your car is the final action that must be taken to prevent struck-by hazards. An inadequately parked vehicle can be dangerous, as demonstrated by this real-life example. On a March evening in 2019, an employee was closing the back door of a box truck after making a delivery at a private residence. After securing the back door, he began walking to the passenger side door of the delivery truck. An F-250 truck that had been parked in the sloped driveway began rolling towards him. The employee was crushed and killed when he was pinned between the box truck and the F-250. He was 53 years old. To prevent incidents like the one in our example, put the car in park and set the parking brake when leaving your vehicle and equipment. Shock the wheels if they are on an incline. When operating specialized motor vehicles or equipment, make sure that bulldozer and scraper blades, end loader buckets, and dump bodies are lowered and blocked when not in use, and that all controls are in neutral position. Anyone who operates a motor vehicle as part of their job is at risk of being involved in a roadway crash. For this reason, your employer must take steps to protect you and other employees, as well as their company, by implementing and enforcing safe driving policies. Only authorized employees will be permitted to operate company-owned motor vehicles. Before being permitted to operate a company vehicle, your employer must ensure that you have a valid driver's license appropriate for the type of vehicle to be driven. You may also be required to demonstrate your ability to operate the motor vehicle in a safe and competent manner. You may be asked to sign an agreement acknowledging awareness and understanding of your employer's traffic safety policies, procedures, and expectations regarding driver performance, vehicle maintenance, and reporting of moving violations. Your employer may check the driving records of prospective employees and perform periodic rechecks after hiring. Your employer will maintain complete and accurate records of workers' driving performance. All company motor vehicles must be maintained in safe operating condition and in accordance with a manufacturer's recommended maintenance schedule. A maintenance log should be kept for each vehicle, and receipts for all maintenance and repairs performed should be saved. Before driving a company vehicle, you should perform a walk-around inspection, checking the tires for tread depth and pressure, the glass for chips and cracks, the horn, lights, and general vehicle condition. Discrepancies should be noted in the maintenance log. Only vehicles in safe mechanical condition should be operated. When driving over-the-road vehicles, you must ensure that the vehicle's registration and proof of insurance is in the vehicle. In the event of an accident, you must notify your employer immediately after all potential injuries have been addressed and a police report has been filled out. All traffic violations should be reported to your employer. Any penalties imposed by law for traffic violations you commit while driving a company vehicle will be your responsibility. Your employer must ensure that vehicles are of the correct size and designed for the intended use. This will prevent damage to the load, damage to the vehicle, reduce the possibility of an accident, and save money. Things to consider include the weight of the load. Vehicles must never be overloaded. The size of the load and the design of the vehicle to contain the load without shifting by utilizing hooks, bars, blocking, or straps. The operating costs of the vehicle. For example, an automobile would be more economical for carrying documents than a truck. The terrain on which the vehicle will be operated. A four-wheel drive vehicle may be more suitable than a sedan for inclement weather or job site use. Other driver safety policies are typical of all companies. Mandatory seatbelt use should always be enforced. Under no circumstances should any motor vehicle be operated under the influence of alcohol, illegal drugs, or prescription or over-the-counter medications that may impair driving skills. Workers should never be required to drive irregular hours or far beyond their normal working hours. Work schedules that allow employees to obey speed limits and to follow applicable hours of service regulations should be developed. Failure to comply with your employer's vehicle driving policies may result in disciplinary action up to and including termination. Roadways are uncontrollable environments and dangerous conditions can exist around any corner. There's nothing that can be done to completely eliminate roadway hazards, but following your employer's safe driving policies can help prevent serious or even fatal injuries. If, despite your best efforts, an accident were to occur, you should follow the procedures on the insurance card in the company vehicle. The following steps are a good guide of what to do immediately after an accident in a company vehicle. Step 1. Check yourself and any passengers for injuries. Step 2. Get to safety. If possible, move your vehicle out of the roadway, but do not leave the scene of the accident. Step 3. Call 911 to report the accident and get help if necessary. Follow police instructions and wait for help to arrive. Step 4. Exchange information with any other drivers involved. Step 5. Document the accident with pictures of license plates of the involved vehicles, damages to vehicles and or property, street signs or landmarks identifying the location of the accident, and any evidence at the scene such as skid marks. Make sure you get a copy of the accident report or document information such as the time and location of the accident, the weather and conditions, and damages or injuries. Step 6. Call your employer to report the accident and request further instructions. You are your employer's most valuable asset. Workplace driver safety programs not only make good business sense, but also demonstrate that your employer cares about you. Follow your employer's safe driving policies and the safe driving practices listed in this training, and help protect yourself and others on the road.